Welcome everyone. Jokes aside, hey guys, today I'll be discussing my findings for the best artifact sets for Chongyun for both main DPS and support. To begin, I'd like to say thank you to all the YouTubers who have helped other people recognize my work, notably Zyox and Jinx. I know I've spoken to you both, but again, I'd like to express my gratitude as it only feels right to do so. Now, a friendly reminder after I announce my findings regarding the artifact sets, please be kind to everyone as if someone's not running the best artifact sets for their intended purpose, please note that this game is meant to be played for fun and probably is the reason why we all play Chongyun, given that he isn't the best main DPS and support. We should also note that someone may not be running the most optimal artifact set due to resin restrictions or AR requirements. So, I'd like to briefly explain the methodology behind finding the best in slot artifact set and ranking them. Previously, I intentionally refrained from ranking all artifact sets because number 1, the cryo-set wasn't released yet, and number 2, I didn't have any accurate tools to do so. I also wanted to make this video because I've seen so many Chongyun guides making baseless claims about X artifact set being better over Y artifact set, and I feel bad that the community is tricked into wrongfully investing into these sets just because a video told them to do so. I suggest you watch the entire video as there are hidden gems of information in between that provide explanations and caveats of certain artifact builds. So, to counteract this issue, I created a Chongyun calculator that is able to provide values for different attacks, skill, and burst, along with the corresponding reaction damage. One thing to note is for the entire sheet/calculator, we can factor in enemy resistance, level difference, debuffs, etc. However, for the projected DPS section for basic attacks, this is the only portion that doesn't take into account these factors previously stated and is only to be used for reference purposes only. This is also not the best determinant for basic attack DPS, and in the future I plan on updating this eventually. So how we're gonna go about ranking these artifact sets? We will go from lowest damage to highest damage and brushing over the lower half to go to the main point. For support artifacts, we are looking at the overall damage of Chongyun's burst at no melt and with melt. Values are taken with all main stats leveled to the highest corresponding rarity and aims to provide a comprehensive explanation between artifact sets and when you should get them. So key definitions include gear score plus melt, which is basically melt damage for a triple melt burst at T6. Note average hit is used, so we factor in crit rate and crit damage already. Assumptions are, we assume that these values for Chongyun and the enemy, and these weapon values as well. We also use max artifacts with no substats to account for RNG to get an accurate representation of base value worth. Supports. We will now look into supports, primarily supports for non-melt damage. So if you're not interested, skip onwards to the timestamp on screen. At the lower end, we have 4-piece Instructor, 2-piece Instructor, 2-piece Wanderers, 4-piece Lava Walkers, 2-piece Gladiators, 2-piece Wanderers, 2-piece Instructors, 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Wanderers, 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Gladiators, and 2-piece cryo-set. At number 4, we have 4-piece Noblesse Oblige. Number 3, 4-piece Blizzard Strayer with 20% effective crit rate. Number 2 is Noblesse Oblige and Blizzard Strayer. And at number 1, which is almost impossible to get, which is the 40% effective crit rate with a 4-piece Blizzard Strayer. So best in slot in this scenario would be 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece cryo-set. Things to mention, 4-piece Noblesse Oblige and 4-piece Instructors may be more valuable depending on your team composition as it provides team-wide buffs, which is very much appreciated by everyone. We will now look into supports, primarily supports for melt damage. Number 12, we have Instructors, 4-piece. Number 11, 2-piece Glads, 2-piece Cryo. Number 10, 2-piece Glads, 2-piece Noblesse. Number 9, 4-piece Noblesse. At number 8, surprisingly, 2-piece Instructors and 2-piece Wanderers, where the decreased stats are both the Flower and the Feather. At number 7, we have 2-piece Gladiators, 2-piece Wanderers. Number 6, Blizzard Strayer 2-piece, and 2-piece Wanderers. At number 5, we have Lava Walkers 4-piece, tied with 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Cryo at 4th because of the equal values of damage percent. At number 3, we surprisingly have 2 Instructor, where the Feather and Flower are 4-star, and 2 Noblesse. At number 2, which is basically best in slot, we have 2 Noblesse, 2 Wanderers, and lastly, the impossible to get 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, effective crit rate of 40%. Additional things to note would be the damage difference in this rankings isn't too big if we look at, say, from number 10 to number 3. And it's up to you whether or not you want to invest in new artifact sets or if you have the resin to do so. This leads me to my next point, which is Wanderers 2-piece being best in slot at number 2 with Noblesse Oblige, being extremely hard to farm as it has the same drop rate as Gladiators and can be only farmed in weekly bosses or elite bosses in the overworld. So make sure to balance out your resources and gauge if you can invest in these artifact sets or not. Another key point I'd like to say would be this is assuming no substats. So generally 4-piece or 4-star rarity artifact sets will have less value on their substats and less amount of substats. So this means that although, say, a 4-piece Instructor may provide a huge amount of buff for your on-screen carry, you really need to land the correct crit rate and crit damage substats to compete with the substats of 5-star rarity artifacts. We will now look into MainDPS, where Chongyun is in a Shatter team composition as it's the most satisfying and intuitive to play. At number 6 and 7, we have the 4-star artifacts Berserker and Martial Artist respectively. From this, we can see that the massive damage difference a 4-star artifact is able to output versus a 5-star, which can be seen at number 5 with 2-piece Gladiators and 2-piece Blizzard Strayer. In my opinion, the most budget MainDPS artifact set. At number 4, we have Retracing Bolide. Number 3, 4-piece Blizzard Strayer at 20% effective crit rate. And finally, at number 2, our best in slot being 4-piece Gladiators. Lastly, we have 4-piece Blizzard Strayer with 40% effective crit rate at number 1 with a massive increase in damage. However, it's almost impossible to hit 40% with Chongyun, which is why we disregard it as best in slot. That wraps up the video. I hope you learned something new, and thank you for supporting me for these past videos I've posted. This took a long time to set up, especially the calculator and all these calculations, so a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone. In all seriousness, take care, yo. See you guys back here sometime soon.